Can we see my Schmoopy shirt? That's what I want to make sure you see.
It's kind of hard. The helmets are in the way, but
my Schmoopies are there.
They're there.
Okay.
Now, see, we have the Mo Valley versus Glendale. That's why I have them in the front.
So. This is from when? Claysburg. Anyways, whenever you're ready, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, here we go, guys.
Dan, you just look like you're tired.
I am tired. It's been a long.
Come on, Spielberg. Spielberg wasn't tired when he made the third Indiana Jones. Come on, Dan.
You're right.
But he might have been when he made those other ones.
Oh, the fourth one was terrible. I don't know if he doesn't see it. That's okay. This episode is sponsored by UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program. UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program are proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the 2022 High School Football Preview on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons, their specially trained concussion management experts, and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg, Ebensburg, or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600. That's 814-889-3600. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of the high school football season on the Altoona Mirror YouTube TV program. I am joined again by my colleagues. I call him the Guru. I hope somebody will send us a shirt that says Football Guru on it, Mike Boydham, and our junior guru, Andy Stein. My name is Scott Franco, and before we start, we did not get any towels this week. We're still holding out hope. This is where Dan play that the Debbie Downer music. But anyways, we did get a Hollidaysburg Golden Tiger junior football. And you can put it there in front of the helmets or put it wherever. We put it in the middle here.
Go Tigers!
Homer DeLatre is looking for these towels. He took me into their equipment room that's just this stuff everywhere. And he was looking for them, so if he finds one, I don't think I have to give that back. I think I'm allowed to keep that. But they give those out in the summertime to their youth kids that come to their camp. So thank you to Hollidaysburg. And we're looking forward to some towels, some washcloths, anything, a rag that you would clean your oil out. We would take that. I would not be there. But we're going to jump right into this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games Mike has picked out for us. The first one, right off the bat, the first one is the one that scares me. Hollidaysburg 0-2 at State College 2-0. Michael, what good thing can you say about this game from the Hollidaysburg perspective that gives them some hope?
Well, they're very close to being 2-0 themselves. Okay. I mean, really, they had a chance against Altoona late in the game, and obviously they were leading late against Allegheny. They just haven't learned how to close out games yet. I'm not sure if they'll have a chance to close out this one with a lead, but I remember covering a game at State College when Hollidaysburg played them a couple years ago, and I think they scored on like the first play of the game, State College, and that just can't happen to them. They have to make sure that maybe if they stop State College on the first drive and maybe even come down and have Ben Sosnowski kick a field goal just get a lead. Like, have something positive going, and maybe, you can hold off the Tide. Like, State College is coming off a super high winning that game at
On the road.
Downingtown East. Like, that is a great win for them, and it's going to be tough for Hollidaysburg this week, but they've done positive things throwing the ball. Elijah Ransom's been able to run the ball a little bit, but you have to control the ball a little bit, and you have to keep State College a little quiet in the first quarter, I think, to give yourself a chance, especially since these kids haven't experienced a win yet this year. They're not feeling that confidence they need against State College.
And then when you were in high school, did you ever catch a team where they were coming off such a huge win that the following week it allowed you to stay in the game, or is that more that happens in the NFL and the collegiate?
I don't recall if it happened like that, quite like that with State College and the awesome win they had last week, but I remember playing Bellwood when I was at Mo Valley, and I remember at Mo Valley we always hated Bellwood week, not because that we just didn't like Bellwood or anything like that. It was just because we knew we probably weren't going to win, and that's a tough week for anyone.
And you just admitted that on camera.
I admitted
we
that.
We get that, Daniel. We get that. We don't have that camera.
Nick Leverage, that's a ton of respect I just gave you.
Yeah, and last year Hollidaysburg was in that game. It was 24-17 late in the third quarter, and those kids were there. But boy, this is a tall task. We'll go to our next game, which is, and since somebody who lived in Mifflin County for 15 years, good for them. Mifflin County is 2-0. They're at Altoona 2-0. Mifflin County has a new football coach. Altoona's coming off. They're home again. Altoona's got 3 straight home games there. What do you know about this Mifflin County team?
Well, Andy might be able to tell you a little bit more about Mifflin County than I, because he's been laying out the Lewistown newspaper.
Yeah,
recently.
It's true. We'll have to get you that in a second.
But I will say that Altoona has done everything they've wanted to do the first couple of weeks, and last week they even mixed in some passing. Tyson Reed caught a couple touchdown passes, and Alex Yost has been really running the ball well for Altoona, and as long as Altoona can cut out the mistakes, no turnovers, they are a tough team to play. And it'll be interesting to see how Mifflin County goes up against that. What have you been seeing about Mifflin County that's maybe been in the Lewistown papers?
Well, Mifflin County, I know they had 17 game losing streak coming into this year. Well, that was snapped week 1. They beat Central Mountain. I think it was 14-7. Also had another big win last week against Shikellamy. It sounds like Lewistown, the area around there, they're really excited about Mifflin County. Another tough one this week against Altoona, but hey, I mean, nice start. It couldn't have gone better so far, at least through the first 2 weeks.
In Mifflin County, when they were Indian Valley, now Indian Valley was good. They'd have some good winning years, and they'd have some down. Lewistown always had a tough time. I believe in my 15 years there, they had 1 winning season.
Wow.
And even before that when they were Kishikillis and Chief Logan, they were always good before they became Indian Valley. And then you old timers that are watching this, you go back to the 70s when they were Penn Highlands, when they were the entire Chief, Kish, and Lewistown all together became one high school. But this new coach down there, I believe his last name is Breon, he's from that area. I mean, if he can somehow come up and pull this off, kudos to them. But Altoona, another home game, and then I believe they have another home game after that. Wow, so they have a chance. I'm not sure who they play the 4th game, but if he can be 3-0 going into that week 4, good for them. Our next game, and again, I think it's an awful long way to go, but Bishop Guilfoyle 1-1 at 0-2 Somerset. Somerset has not been good in a while. I would think Bishop Guilfoyle should feel pretty good about their chances on this one.
Yeah, they should, but obviously no one can overlook an opponent, but BG is going to be okay in this one, especially, they have a short week. They had to play on Saturday the last 2 weeks. Now they're playing on a Friday, a little bit of a different scenario where, they're going on the road, and Somerset's a decent trip, but in all reality, Somerset really struggled last week against Bishop McCourt/Carroll, and, I believe that BG is like in a little BG's in a step up from that competition. So Johnny Golden for Carroll he's actually a Bishop Carroll student. He had a former cool name
from last year. I was a Johnny Gold.
He had a great game against Somerset last week. So I think Carson Keseywetter is probably going to do the same for BG this week.
What's the longest road trip you ever went on? Do you remember when you were
Southern Huntington was not easy. I want to say that was like an hour and 45-minute bus trip.
No,
I
come
remember.
on,
I remember
that's
one
it.
time for baseball, we had a 3 p.m. doubleheader at Southern Huntington. We got out of school at like 10:30 in the morning.
I was waiting for you to tell me like two
Who's
and a
complaining
half.
about
Yeah. Yeah, you got out of school early. Why are we giving him segues like this?
I
You guys
mean,
should go school 5 hours.
We
the
can talk
bus
about
broke
college.
down.
We could talk about college, but it was like a 6 hour.
No, that's all right. Our next game is not a big road trip, other than the fact is it's a big game. It's Central 1-1 at Penn, Cambria 2-0. And I'll say this right off the bat: if you looked at the paper earlier this week, I picked Penn, Cambria. Central can send me stuff next week. They can send me a towel to say, "Here, wipe off your tears because you lost this game." But Penn, Cambria in a good spot right now.
Well, first of all, I gotta wonder if that had anything to do with somebody thinking you're not as funny as I am.
Oh, hey, we don't get it. And nothing to do with the fact is I've been drinking from this Penn Cambria cup all season. So it's not like I just got it today. This just does a really good job of keeping my drinks cold and crisp. I do. That's why I picked it.
Now,
Slogan, too.
It's a good slogan. It work becomes results.
really
But again, I do have a Central cup. And I do, but I just, the Penn Cambria cup,
Yeah.
I just really fallen for it.
well, as far as the game goes, Central is coming off the loss to Richland, and these teams actually met for the district championship last year. So it's a pretty interesting game because last year it was not good for Penn Cambria in either the regular season matchup or the championship game. And an interesting part about this whole game is Garrett Harold and Jeff Hohenstein are really good friends off the field, and they're both obviously great quarterbacks. So they're both on the Blitz magazine this year, which you can
dads were
still
buddies?
get.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Penn Cambria's chance to say, hey, we are in the mix for the district championship here. Because, hey, Tyrone is also 2-0, and they're looking good.
And they're watching this game big
So
time.
those three teams are going to be competing for the district title in 3A. And this is going to go a long way in saying, hey, who has the momentum in this?
And Penn Cambria has a chance because first two games, the two reporters that I talked to, Central's offensive line is going to have to do its job because Penn Cambria's watched film. They saw what happened at BG. They saw what happened at Richland. So, and then I'm not going to steal in case anything of Stein's line, but I'm telling you, the offensive line for Central is going to be the deciding, in my opinion, it will be the deciding factor in this game. The next game, wonder when the last time a 2-0 team was playing a 1-1 Bellwood Annis team, but we have 2-0 Curwensville at Bellwood Annis 1-1.
And I would have never thought this game would be on our show at the beginning of the season, but Curwensville has hammered Myersdale, and last week looked really impressive pulling away from Juniata Valley late. Now the question is was that Juniata Valley or was that Curwensville? Dan McGarry has been super impressive as the quarterback for Curwensville. He has thrown the ball well, he's run the ball well, and I'm kind of curious, like, what's that going to look like against Bellwood? Because Tyrone was able to throw the ball against Bellwood, and Glendale, when they just play them, Glendale doesn't really have a passing game, and that's maybe why Glendale wasn't able to score. I'm wondering how Bellwood's defense will do against them, and this might be a chance for an ICC team to knock off Bellwood, which doesn't happen very often.
Well, you're familiar with the Curwensville program.
am,
Did they ever
yeah.
have a down year?
Well,
I mean, it's just that's a nice little
weird-
entry for them into the ICC.
What's weird about that is, I mean, yeah, I saw the box score from last week with Curwensville, and McGarry had like 300 plus yards passing. And back when I covered Curwensville back then, I mean, we're talking about a very run-heavy offense. Like if they threw the ball 5 times a game, like that was, hold the press. Like that's a big deal. But they constantly had guys go over 200 yards rushing back then. But it seems like the tide's changing a little bit.
If this game were at Curwensville, I would have picked Curwensville. I know Mike went and picked Curwensville, but again, I was afraid because it's at Bellwood Annis. I don't know how much that means to them. Our next game is our Andy Stein game. Is that correct?
That's right.
The Mo Valley 0-2 at Glendale. Somebody's going to come out of here. You did your ties story earlier this week, so
Yeah.
we know somebody's going to win this game. Should we ask him first before?
Well, first of all, I just want to say one of the main reasons we talked about this game is Andy is on the show, and also because they have both sent their helmets. If other teams would send us their helmets, maybe we would talk about their game.
Like we have Claysburg helmet, Hollidaysburg, we have a BG and a Northern Bedford. We sure would like another helmet or two on it, but yeah.
But I'll let Andy go first talking about this one because this is his rivalry game.
Yeah, I kind of have a little bit of a flashback, I guess, because of my senior year. We lost at Glendale my senior year. First time in like 20 years that Mo Valley lost to Glendale. I remember that day going to the game. It's like people were lining up the streets in Coalport to boo our bus and everything. And I never got booed so much that one day. But anyways,
no, wait, didn't your dad go to one of the schools and your mom went to that?
My dad went to Glendale. My mom went to Mo Valley.
But your dad wasn't on the street booing you.
He was not.
There's no family members booing you. Right?
He would not wear a Mo Valley shirt though.
Wow. See, that's your son.
He wore a Mo Valley.
PG and I rooted for Hollidaysburg.
He wore a Mo
sons
Valley.
were there.
He wore a Mo Valley football hat on my senior night. That's the only time he was ever caught.
Now I'm afraid to meet this guy. I'm gonna be mad. But anyways, I'm just gonna go on a hunch here. I have a hunch that Mo Valley's gonna do something big here. I know a lot of people around Mo Valley were upset with the way the Glendale game went last year. They felt like it was a missed opportunity. I have a lot of faith in the Canute kid at running back. He can do something big. I know they had a bad taste. They had a bad taste in their mouth last week after a tough road trip at Berlin, which that's probably their longest road trip now. But yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to pick Mo Valley. I'm going to go all the way back around and make a face turn again. I'm no longer a heel. Michael, what do you see in this game?
Well, I would say that Glendale has played two of the toughest opponents in the ICC that you can play to start the season in Juniata Valley and Bellwood. So, I mean, they have not looked great offensively, but Suds Dubler was a main part of their offense last year. He was the one that scored the game-winning touchdown when they beat Mo Valley with 15 guys last year. But Zeke Dubler is the guy that is the star now, and it's going to be really how Mo Valley contains him and how they contain the Mo Valley running game. I don't think there's going to be anybody that throws for 300 yards in this one.
And I like what Mike said about Glendale's first two games. I mean, you would have to think those two games made them better. And boy, that Mo Valley coming off that Berlin game. If they get that
they said they got off the bus and they saw 82 players in Berlin, and Mo Valley has 25 maybe. I mean, that's not easy.
Yeah. Then we're going to go right to Michael's. We have our little special thing that shows up on your screen. Our stat of the week. Mike, what is our stat?
Well, Adam Johnson for Northern Bedford is having a great start of the season. And I know Gary Black will appreciate the shout out here, but he's got 9 touchdowns in the first 2 games. He has 7 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving scores. So Adam Johnson way ahead in our scoring leaders on the Mears high school football stats page.
I think we just keep his mugshot now on the screen of our pagination terminals with like guys from the Steelers and Penn State because he's just always in there. Now my favorite part, because of Dan's sound effects, our Stein's line.
It's ahead! Short steps. Short steps are better than long steps.
Okay, I forgot to mention this last week, but I really love linemen. I don't know if you guys knew that, but
I thought it was punters. I thought you loved punters.
You know what? I bet a lot of people watch the show and think maybe Andy Stein was a punter or a kicker in high school. Maybe he's back there fielding punts. You never know. Nope, I'm a lineman. But anyways, my line of the week is the Cambria Heights offensive line. I remember last week we were talking about Altoona had 360 yards rushing, I think it was, and 1 yard passing. Well, Cambria Heights did something similar to that this week. 278 yards rushing, 0 yards passing. It was a nice bounce back win. They lost to Northern Cambria the first week. They beat Portage, a really good win, 13-6 last week. I'm going to name their guys. Their tackles are Gavin McConnell and Alex Farrell. The guards are Brad Green and Braylon Redbaum. The center's Zane Miller. The tight end, Joe Snedden. Awesome job by those guys.
And Gavin McConnell's a big dude, isn't he?
He is. Yes.
He is. I remember covering a game a couple years ago
against
McCourt. He was a sophomore, I think, and I could not get over how big that kid was.
Probably got bigger.
I think Zane Miller's family might have given us a hat last year, so they could maybe send us a towel.
The towel would look cool to hang up behind us as we prepare for the cool names segment of our show.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
which is, let's be honest, it's some of everybody's favorite part of the show,
go.
except for some people.
I know.
But anyways, our cool name segment starts with, we're going to stay in Blair County, Bishop Guilfoyle kicker, Gonzalo Brieva. It might be Brieva. Gonzalo Brieva Jr. I was told on Rich D'Elia when he was doing the game for WRTA, he's an exchange student, but he's kicking for them. Gonzalo Brieva. And then from Hollidaysburg, I know the family, they had a kid that played with my brothers whose name never got on. His name was Xander Bainey, but this kid's name is Maddox Bainey. Maddox, like Tommy Maddox. He's a sophomore linebacker. Maddox is his first. I love last names that are first names.
It's a great name.
But Maddox Bainey. So those are our names. Was Mike?
That was annoying.
What, all the noise you're making?
No, that's segment.
No, wah, wah. Oh, I'm sorry. Dan was going to put that in, but I like to do my own wah, wah. But that's going to do it. I can't wait to come up with 2 more names for next week. But for Andy Stein, for Mike Boydham, for Dan Eisenberg, our producer, director, Steven Spielberg-ish, a leader of our football show here, I'm Scott Franco. Thanks for turning in, but don't forget to like, subscribe. I like Dan hates probably when I'm pointing all over the screen. Like, subscribe, and share to help our show keep growing. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.